Hi, today we're going to talk to Kyle Krebs from Image Cinema, who essentially is the pioneer of photo booth here in Houston. And he's going to tell us a little bit of history of photo booth and how it has become so popular, and also the services that he offers for future brides. Thank you so much, Kyle, for joining us today. Can you tell me a little bit about your company of Image Cinema by Photo Booths?
Yes, we go by Image Cinema Photo Booths.
Okay.
We started in 2008, and my company, Image Cinema, was a video production, event production company. So we, actually that was in Corpus Christi where we're doing event production. So I had been doing weddings, shooting weddings for many years with Image Cinema, and I noticed at an event there was a photo booth brought in. So I wasn't the first, but I saw a photo booth. And I saw the popularity and how entertaining and fun it was for the guests. And immediately I decided I wanted to add that to Image Cinema.
What makes your company different from other photo booth companies in Houston?
When we set out to make this booth, it was unique at the time because we were only one of very few booths out there. But to this day, we don't see the quality that we have. We call it studio portrait photos. It literally looks like you're in a studio getting portrait photography taken, and it's in a photo booth. The size of our booth, the record's 14 people, but it's not so large that you lose the intimacy. It's the bench where the guests sit is in the center of our booth. So if it's just two people, they're very close to the lens and it looks like a normal photo booth. Where we get the big groups is that they can stand behind the people seated. So that provides, we kind of call it stadium style seating, because people can literally kneel in front of the people seated, then you have people seated and you have people standing. And so that's how we get the big groups in there, but it's still small enough that there's a lot of intimacy in the photo booth. Intimacy is what makes it funny. And that's when you're kind of all on top of each other and you're doing all, making faces at each other really close, makes it funny.
Why do you think there's been such a huge growth in photo booth in the last years?
Good question. When we first started, we were one of the only companies offering this, and we literally were charging twice as much as we charge now because there was no other options. And now there's a lot of competition. Our prices have come down so brides can get a good price on a photo booth. It changes the dynamic of weddings. It really does, because I was shooting video of weddings at weddings with my camera fixed on everything going on, and sadly I would say over half the weddings, after the meal was served, half the guests left. And the brides had put so much money and energy into entertaining their guests and providing for their guests and making a beautiful wedding for themselves, that it was really sad to see that. But when you brought in the photo booth, I noticed that people stayed. And as simple as going in the photo booth, and it's only a minute you're in there, but it's coming out of the photo booth with the pictures and showing people your pictures. It's standing in line at the photo booth, putting on the party props and trying on party props, and then going back again and putting a different set of party props on, and then signing the guest book for the bride. There's a guest book where we put a picture in the guest book and the guests sign right next to their picture, and they write funny and sweet things, and it loosens people up. The dynamic totally changed. It kept people there. It really kept people there. And now the bride has a party favor, and there's nothing more unique and different than your own customized picture with the own customized graphic of the bride's name and date of their wedding. And so it's really the ultimate party favor. So you've got that. The entertainment that I mentioned, the dynamic that changed the weddings and kept guests entertained and kept them at the weddings, that's all part of it. And then the guest book. To go home with the guest book that you can look back years. I mean, your children will be looking at, your grandchildren will be looking at this guest book, and you'll have every picture of everyone that was important to you, from the friends to the relatives you hardly saw or knew or seen, that you see once or twice in a lifetime, that are at your wedding. And so it's kind of like your ancestry, so to speak, passed on down to generations through this one little guest book that cost, when you look at it, the cost is insignificant for all that you get with the photo booth.
Could you give us some tips for our brides that are watching this interview?
The best time to start the booth is kind of like halfway when dinner's served and about halfway through dinner, because there's a lot of people that eat real fast and they're looking for something to do right after. We see it every time. As soon as they finish eating, they're looking for something to do, and the booth's a great time to start the booth. So I would recommend not starting the booth too early. And then the other thing is I've seen and we've helped brides with is little place settings at the table to notify the guests that there is a photo booth.
Okay.
And to encourage them to enjoy the photo booth and take pictures, but also might say, and also sign our guest book. Okay. When they see sign the guest book at the photo booth, it really is a call to action to the guests that, even if they think, I don't want to do the photo booth, they'll do it when they see that they need to sign the guest book with their photo. And so that way you'll get everybody there in the photo booth and they're all aware of it. And you can do little table tents as well, and our graphic artists can help the bride with that. Photo booths started because people couldn't afford a photographer, and they wanted to take a family picture or a portrait of themselves, or even a special occasion, weddings. They would go in town to find a photo booth and take a picture on their wedding day to have a picture because they couldn't afford a photographer. So that was in the early 1900s. So that's how long we've had this, and it's never going away.
I did not know
it's
that.
It's never going away. There will always be photo booths at events. It's just too much fun. We have a limited number of booths, and of course there's busy seasons. And so if they're having a wedding in a busy season like May or June or October, they really need to maybe even a year in advance try to book us. The other months can book up as well, but it's never too early. They go to our website, imagecinema.com.
Thank you so much, Kyle.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
Wow, what an interesting and so informative interview. I hope you liked it as much as I did. My name is Rocio Graña. I'm with the Bridal Extravaganza Show. We also wanted to give out a big shout out to our studio/model home from Fisher Lane Building and Design. Thank you and join in next week.